I know this has been a really long time, so I'm really sorry. However, I am here to tell you all about my wonderful birthday, which was in February, so it's almost a whole month ago, but that's okay. So, for my birthday, which was February 8th, Robert surprised me. So he told me we were going to go somewhere, but that I wasn't allowed to know where. He would not let me know anything. So he told me what to pack, very cryptically, of course. You might need long pants. You might need a nice outfit. You might need pajamas. Who knows? And he asked me to get groceries. He asked me to tell him what groceries I'd want if we went on a picnic or if we needed breakfast, that kind of thing. So we got all these groceries and we headed out on, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, we left Thursday. And the Thursday before my birthday. And because my birthday was on a Saturday. Wow, that's so weird. So we headed out on a Thursday and we headed to the airport. I'm like, I brought my passport because you never know. But he was like, no, you don't need your passport. He said, we're actually going in a car. I was trying to think of his words, but I can't think of what he said. So we got in a car and we started driving, and he wouldn't tell me where we were going, and I wasn't allowed to look at the map or anything. So we were driving, and I knew we were going south because I saw Carlisle on like a billboard, like driving down the highway. So we stopped at a castle on the beach. So the first thing we did is Robert was like, I'm taking you to see someone that you haven't seen in a really long time and that you really miss. And I'm like kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, he brought Ettleby to Scotland. How did he do it? I'm like, she could die on a plane. And so we pull up and, I can't really see anything. It's just like grasses everywhere. And he's like, all right, like go. And so I get out of the car and like I peek over the hill and it's just like the ocean. So he drove me to the Atlantic Ocean. So it is someone I missed very much. It was freezing cold. A little different than my ocean, but it was still the same. So I like ran down to the beach and like took my shoes off and dug my toes in the sand and put my toes in the water and froze to death and came back and put my shoes back on. And then like up a ways, there was this really cool castle. It was like a huge ruin. It was like basically looked like someone had just sliced it in half. Like you took a block of cheese and just like Eliza used to do with her Cutco knives with pineapples. So we scampered up and like checked that castle out and made our way like slowly through someone's pasture back to the car and forged on. And so we're driving. I'm getting hungry. I'm like, okay, I'm hungry. So he pulls out a lunch that he packed for us and we stopped at another castle on the beach. So we ate lunch at this like little picnic table in this park in this small like seaside village. Saw another castle ruin. Also looked like it'd kind of been cut in half. And then we saw like these cliffs because it was on a cliff. So we went down this path and we went through a labyrinth, which was really pretty. And then we just played on the beach for a little bit. And all the rocks are so smooth. Everything is just so smoothed down. So I collected a bunch of rocks and they had sea glass everywhere. So I collected a bunch of sea glass and it was just, you could see how the water had moved through these big rock structures, which I guess obviously it was like a boulder or something. But it felt like a miniature Grand Canyon, darker Grand Canyon because all the rock was like a thick, dark color. It was beautiful. It was stunning. You'll see pictures at the end of us walking through these just huge, like cratered out rocks. And I would climb up to one and we collected a bunch of litter and threw it away. But the beach was so fascinating. I've never seen a beach like that before. And you could look out and you could see rocks still in the ocean and some would be huge and some would be little and the birds would be collecting on them. And it was a phenomenal. It was just the coolest. It was so cool. So we played and explored the rocky caves of this beach for a while, for a long time. And then he's like, we got to go. We got to be somewhere at 4. I said, oh, okay. So we got in the car and we were still driving and I can't remember if we stopped at one more. This is the problem with me not doing them right away. I can't remember if we stopped at one more castle. I think we might have. I can't remember though. Oh, how awful. And all I know is that we're driving and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I have to turn off the road. So he like turns off the road. And I'm like, oh gosh, what's going on? And we like pull up to this big wrought iron gate. And he like presses this button and they're like, hello, like Glenap Castle, how may we help you? And he's like, hi, it's my wife and I are here. We're the Hearts. And they said, oh, yes, of course. And they opened the big gates for us. So we're driving up and he said, do you know where we are? I'm like, no, I don't know where we are. And it felt like we drove for like 7 more minutes, winding all around. Kind of looks like North Carolina, not going to lie. There was rhododendron everywhere. And we're driving and then we pull up to this huge castle. I mean, massive estate, and it has like, the pebbles and the big iron gate and the fountain in the front and the turrets, and he's like, this is where we're going to be staying for the next 2 nights, and it was, oh gosh, it was so beautiful. And so we pulled up, and Robert the whole time had been like, hey, like make sure the back is like cleaned up, like the back of the car, because I would eat something and just toss it in the back, or like I'd be like, oh, I want to change my shirt, so I'd change it and toss it in the back. So I had like hats in the back, shoes in the back, like everything was in the back. Right before we'd gotten there, you told me, like, straighten up the back. And I was like, why? That's so weird. Like, whatever. So I'm, like, straightening it up. And then we get there, and this is why I wanted me to straighten up the back, because they came outside and, like, got our stuff and, like, took it to our room for us. But, like, obviously, like, my stuff was everywhere, so like, it was kind of embarrassing. And they, like, took our stuff, and they were waiting outside, and we went inside, and it was this huge estate. It was like a Titanic staircase, wooden, oak, mahogany, and oh gosh, it was stunning. Then you, like, go into this room, and this lady says, I'll take you to your room. Like, oh, thank you. And then she just opens the wall. So we follow her into the wall, I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. And she's like, oh, no one ever really gets excited. It's like, well, the wall just opened. Like, how do I not? It's like if I just, like, push this and it opened. So we went down a couple stairs and went to our room, and it had, like, this big canopy bed and had a bathtub with, like, little feet, the bathtub that's above the ground. So naturally, I took, like, 18 baths. My skin was, like, ruined by the end because I just kept soaking. Because we don't have a bath here, so I have to use a bath. Whenever I get a chance, I take a bath. The room was stunning, and we called in some tea, so we got tea and coffee brought to our room, and they set it on, like, the place where you do your makeup, with the big mirror. I can't remember what it's called, vanity. So we had some tea and coffee on the vanity in our estate room, and then we decided for dinner we were gonna go to another hotel down the road in, like, the Fisherman's City, just to get, like, a quick bite that wasn't expensive or anything. And so we called, made a reservation, and the guy kind of laughed at Robert for calling a reservation in. So when we got there was literally no one. Like, I don't even know if people were staying in the hotel. That's how vacant it was. We were low-key worried we were going to be, like, murdered or something. So we ate there by ourselves. Like, at the very end, a couple people walked in. But we were the only people at the hotel. And then we got back, and we, like, walked around in the dark, like, around the estate, and, like, because it was a big full moon, and we got to see the gardens, and there was this pond, and so we just kind of wandered for a little bit, and then we were going to wake up early the next morning, so we, had to get some sleep, and, oh gosh, it was so beautiful. There are pictures, don't worry. And so the next morning, so Friday morning, we wake up, and we get going. I'm trying to think where we went exactly. Oh, we went straight to a, oh gosh, national forest, state park, whichever one you want to call it. And we went and saw, I wish I remember what the castle was called. They all have some kind of funky names. But this castle was interesting because it used to be on an island in the middle of this lake, and they would row out to it, But when, like, in the future, a little, obviously not right now, they decided to, like, raise the lake, like, raise the water. So they had to, like, take the castle down and rebuild it. So what they got, like, a special mason, someone who knew, like, the masonry work of that castle's time period, to come and, like, kind of do what Dr. Hart does, Dr. Hart Sr., with the log cabins. He, like, numbered them and, like, put them exactly back how they would have been on the island, but just, like, on the shore. So it was really cool, and it's a circular castle. That's all it is like one big circle, and you can see where, like, the stairwell goes up, and it was really fascinating trying to figure out where things were in this, like, giant circle of a building. And that was really cool. And then we went on a hike. I hiked. We went a little off-trail hiking because I wanted to get to the peak of, like, some, like, rock face, and I was like, that looks cool. I want to go up there. So we just wandered. They have a wandering rule. Gosh, what's it called? I'm just blanking on everything today. There's some rule that, like, you can just go on people's land as long as you're respectful. Not that, I mean, this was a state park, but so like paths aren't really a thing. So we went up to the top and had a little snack, and I painted my face with some ash from the fire. I'm like, oh yeah, like I look cool, I look beast mode. And then we hiked back down, and then on the way down, we crossed this little stream and went into this like really cool, what I would call a fairy glen. It's like dense conifers, you know, like evergreen almost, and the branches were all like very separate, so you could kind of like crawl through these like little natural tunnels. And the light was coming through these trees. I think I have a picture. Lights were coming through these trees, and it was so beautiful. It was just rays, God rays, coming through these trees and hitting the water and the moss and the green and the other branches. It was really beautiful. It was pictures can't capture how gorgeous it looked. It was really stunning. So we went around in there, and it was quieter, and we just crawled around in this fairy glen, and then came back out. And Robert tried to teach me stick shift, and it didn't work. I got very like frustrated and stressed out, and I didn't want to break a rental car, so I'll have to learn later. And then we were driving back to the hotel because we had fancy dinner Friday night. So when we were driving back, we saw this like huge castle just like on a hill, like from a distance. We both saw it, just glanced over and saw it. So I'm like, oh my gosh. So I'm pinning it on my phone, trying to figure out like where we are, what castles are in the area. And so he like whips it in reverse so that we can go try to see this beautiful castle. You know, it's dusk. It's not dark. It's just getting there. And so we like follow the instructions on my phone, and it says to turn down this dirt road. So we turn down this dirt road, and there's like no one around. And then it tells us to turn down another dirt road that looks like a construction road because there's like nothing but mud and like tracks, like car tracks, tractor tracks. So we were like, we're not going to take the car down that. This is a tiny little car. It's not an SUV. So we parked the car. I like put my boots back on, and we just hike it. We're like, it can't be that far. We can see it. It's a castle. So we start hiking, and it's much further than we thought. And we finally find it. We can see just the tip of it. And there's like this hill that kind of goes down. And at the bottom of the hill, like immediately at the bottom, is like this really rundown house like structure. And so we're kind of like, ooh, that's sketchy. We're going to go around, because there was this like gate where a gate would have been. And it was just like this part, the stone part. So we go through the stone part, and there's like broken greenhouses and storage sheds off in the corner, and we're going around, we're following the brick wall to see if there's like a way in, and there is, and it's just a pitch black hole. So I'm not going in that. And then we hear what I can only describe as a werewolf. It was very loud. It was very like scared, angry sound, dog. Whatever it was not friendly. So we like kind of hightailed it out of there, and we decided we just go with the house. The house seemed like the safest option with whatever's happening in the greenhouse areas. We went back out and around, and I found an opening to go like around the house, like down the hill and around. So I sent Robert, obviously. And before I could even like come around with a camera to like see what he was seeing, he was like hauling back up the hill, and he was like grabbing me. He's like, we're running. And he said when he had gone around the corner, it was just like these big like storage like spaces, kind of like how a Roman bridge looks, those big arches, I guess. And he said that it was just blackness, like you couldn't even see the castle through them. So he was uncomfortable, which made me uncomfortable. And then that noise happened again. So we just ran the like 0.75 miles back to the car and got in the car. We were like, you know what? We're good. Like we YouTubed what the castle looked like on the inside. We were good to go. It was fine. We weren't going to tempt the devil. So we, got in the car and drove back, and then we got all fancied up for our fancy dinner, and Robert took tea in the library while he waited for me to get dressed, and I took forever on my hair, as one does. And then we had a very fancy dinner. I had veal, which was gross, but Robert thought it was delicious. I had a bonbon too, a haggis bonbon, and it wasn't that bad. And then we had dessert. I made Robert get a cheese tray, and he was so mad because he wanted the like cinnamon ball, which was like a funnel cake ball with ice cream. But I got that, and I wanted him to get the cheese so that I could have some of the cheese. So he ended up eating my dessert, and I ate his dessert, and I hid one of my veals under a leaf because I didn't want to eat it. It tasted like a mothball. And then we went to bed because then the next morning on my birthday, actually, I think we did stay up till midnight to sing me happy birthday. We did. And Mom got me a little crown, so I wore my little crown. And then the next morning, we woke up, ate our breakfast. The breakfast was so good. You can have like scrambled eggs and toast and like a Scottish whatever, haggis and black pudding or whatever. It was yummy. So we had our breakfast and we like packed up the car and then we just like wandered the estate grounds and looked at the gardens in the daylight and looked at the botanics in the daylight, and we went and saw Ireland from the edge of the coast, which was really cool. And then we went and walked just like around the whole estate grounds. So there was like a really pretty set of waterfalls we saw and a bunch of like natural paths and some bridges, and it was really beautiful and it was very peaceful because there weren't anybody else out there. So it was just us and getting to enjoy nature. And I forgot to mention that I peed in the woods, not on the estate, in the state park. I peed in the woods. I was very proud of myself. I think I put a picture in because I was so proud because I really don't like doing that. I did it twice. Yeah. Look at me. But overall, it was really, really fun. And we just got to spend some time together in a castle. I felt very regal. And, you know, Robert was very proud of himself because he surprised me the whole time. And so we packed up the car and headed home. And it was time to come home, I guess. It was, my birthday. So Robert said his parents had a birthday present for me. And I'm like, I wonder what that is. And I was guessing because we were going to wherever it was. I'm like, oh, is it animals? And he said, kind of. I said, is it people? He said, kind of. And he was trying to lead me astray. And instead I got a massage. So I got beaten up for like 2 hours. It was beautiful. An hour and a half. It was so great. And then Robert came and picked me up from the massage. And then we went home. And yeah, it was a lovely weekend. It was phenomenal. It was peaceful and a castle. And I felt very, very royal. Very regal. Like I should be wearing a queen's crown, not a princess's tiara, if you catch my drift. Not that any of my bridesmaids are watching this video, but they know, and my mom knows what I'm talking about. And yeah, so that was my birthday. And Sunday, the day after my birthday, once we got home, we went to bed, and when we woke up the next morning, two of my friends, Kayla and Catherine, came with me and Robert to a jumpy castle, like the largest inflatable jumpy castle in the UK called Air Thrill World, and it was 90 minutes of jumping, and we could only last like an hour. We were dying. It was so much exercise, and it was definitely geared for children, but it was still a lot of fun. So they came and did that with me, and bless them, it took us 2 hours to get home, even though we were only 23 minutes from Glasgow because we couldn't find a cab that would come that far out to us. But it was a lot of fun, and then we ate at a restaurant, and it was all very casual and very exciting, and I'm 24 now. I'm just, so alive. Oh, and then I went to an ABBA concert the next weekend. I don't even know if I have pictures of it. I think I was just too in the moment, but I wore a wig and a nice costume. So all in all, Valentine's and my birthday and February was a good month, a very, very good month for me so far. And I'm sure in the next weekend when we go skiing, you guys will get to hear all about my skiing adventures, and I'm sure that'll go great too. Why wouldn't it? Oh, and for Valentine's Day, I made our apartment look like Papa's Breakfast Nook, which is in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which is where Robert and I's first date was. So I don't know if there's pictures of that or not, but if there are, that's what it is. Don't be confused. So yeah. Okay, enjoy the pictures. Lunchtime views. Freaking free.
Cheers, my queen.
Cheers, King. Slouch. So delicious. Oh, yes, indeed. Very
A
partial.
delight of the tongue.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic.
Sitting here, sitting here gossiping. That's the tea.
I'm an explorer. I fell down the mountain a little bit.
Tell us where we are.
We are in Loch Doon Castle on Loch Doon. Yep, this castle's actually dismantled and put back together once they rose the water out of the loch.
It was on an island.
Yes.
And how are you feeling?
I'm very cold and I've been car sick all day, but I'm feeling a little better now. Are driving on an adventure.
Just driving down a farm, someone else's farm.
Trying to get to where we're going. It says East Ayrshire, UK Council of the Year. Oh, would you look at that? Forward together. Yep, on an adventure.
What are we doing?
We're trying to learn stick in Scotland.
Yeah, there you go. On the wrong side.
Yep.
All right, let's try it out.
Okay.
Off the clutch a little bit.
Yep. Just so
Give it a little gas. Give it some gas.
It stalled, so it's dead.
Okay, push it in.
Now what?
Okay, put the foot on the brake. Now turn it off, turn it on. Okay, turn it on. Okay.
Okay. Okay, now on the gas.
All right, let it off. There you go. Oh. We're going. We're good.
Yay!
We're good. We're good. There's a cool castle there too. All right. Turn right. Easy.
Now we gotta learn how to stop.
All right. Now I want you to try. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
I gotta turn right.
Now keep going.
No, I'm turning right.
Okay.
But you gotta put it in the clutch.
Put it in the clutch.
I don't think I found the clutch.
Okay.
Correctly.
Now stop. Keep your foot on the clutch. Keep your foot on the clutch. Okay. There you go.
It's been real, Glenapp. Castle. There's Robert.
Got it.
Headed off to our next big adventure. So long. Farewell. Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.
Do a cool one.
Hi, welcome to my crib, Robert the Bruce style. About to take you into the kitchen. So I can get there myself. Robert, how, like...
Oh, look. A dog.
Look at all.
Oh, look. A dog. Happy birthday to you. I got the video.
We look awful on this. You look cute. Okay, I'll cut me out.
All right, make a wish.
Okay.
Alright, spread photographs. Good.
That... and action. Ah, trick candles!
Bye.
Except for our fire alarm is for sure gonna go off.
Except
so.
that one.
So.
Did you put 24 in there?
He didn't even do like the 2 and 4 trick, Mom. He put 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Nice. Happy 9th birthday, Ellie.
Yay! I've always wanted to be 9 years old.
And he put them out in water so they don't smoke.
We need to put him in water.